Civilization has been studying the universe for literally millennia. We know how the moon and stars impact the tides, the seasons, and even our human behavior. This is why I have Jen Dice here to talk to us about how human design can create an amazingly hell yes business for you moving forward. Jen, I'm going to pass you the torch and let you dive into why human design is important to you and why it should be important to everyone else.
Well, thank you, Shauna, for having me here today. So I'm super excited to share that human design, it is something that it's a science that is part spiritual, part science, but it really is a tool that helps you uncover more of your gifts, your innate gifts, strengths, and talents that helps kind of paint a picture of like who you really are at your core. And from my perspective is being able to kind of leverage those gifts and talents, some things that we may have always suspected we were really good at, or it really kind of shines a light on the things that really make us unique. But from an importance standpoint of being a business owner, it's like being able to pull those strengths and talents and those unique gifts and infuse that into your business, into your marketing, into the way that you show up, the content, so that you can kind of give yourself this permission to do the things that you love to do in a way that lights you up versus trying to fit yourself in a box, especially as a business owner.
Absolutely. And you got to know that I love the idea of freeing yourself from that proverbial box, right? You're all contorted in there. And the other thing that I have to say is that, when you're showing up and using human design to show up, there's a lot of action involved with that. There's a lot of people see it as, oh, it's so woo. Oh my goodness. I don't know, the spiritual, and is it really science? I mean, I know I've spoken about it and I am this much into it by contrast to your expertise, but people are always afraid of the woo. I just want to ask you then, because I know the action behind it. What's your approach when somebody says, yeah, it sounds a little woo for me? Where are you coming from with regards to that?
So I like to take more of I'll say open-minded approach. And yes, you can go all in on the levels and the layers of your human design chart. It does pull in different key ancient sciences of astrology, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, the chakra system. So there is a little bit of spirituality and quote unquote woo to it. But it's like, how can you pull out the practical pieces of it and start to apply that in a way that works for you? So one of the things that I like to do is just look at it from just an archetype perspective, because there are other tools out there that we use as business owners. There's other personality tests that we take to try to understand ourselves better. And so if you reference maybe the Enneagram or the DISC profile assessment or the Myers-Briggs, any personality test you might have taken, because we all want to know more about who we are. And then you just kind of embrace that idea and look at human design as it's just going to show you more about who you are and basically what you were born with, gifts you were born with. And then you can kind of take and run with those key pieces of information, how you want to leverage it, how you want to utilize it. And quite often, a lot of the clients that I've that I've worked with that have never heard of human design, but they were intrigued enough to kind of, sit down, we'll look at their chart together. There's a lot of aha moments that get found in those sessions where they start to, oh, that is me. And it's almost like I said before, you give yourself that permission to actually step into the things that maybe you always suspected you were good at. Maybe you, as in your business, have been running things a certain way, have been marketing a certain way, but there were pieces that just didn't resonate with you, or there are things that you really loved about certain ways of doing things, but you weren't necessarily coached in that direction. So this, along with other tests and ways of understanding yourself, just gives you that permission to just own who you are and really let those strengths shine in the way that you're writing your content, you're marketing your business, you're creating your offers, and you're showing up and serving your clients and your customers.
I love that. And permission is a really great word, but I want to tell you that when you say permission, my natural path in my brain, which we know is, who knows where that's going to go, it winds up heading toward possibility, right? Because truly, your permission to embrace possibility can open so many doors that may have been closed for you, like on your behalf, not necessarily by you, or maybe by you on the behalf of other people. So not only is this, the idea of, oh, you can give yourself permission to explore, it's deeper than that, right? It
Mm-hmm.
actually frees you
Mm-hmm.
from some imposed schemas and ideologies about yourself that may be holding you back from actually embracing joy and just all of the beautiful emotions that you can feel when you're actively marketing your business and living in your business and in your zone. So do you have any, I don't know, stories or like examples of this happening with some of your clients? Because I know that it totally happened with me when I dove into human design. I all of a sudden, I'll give you an example. I used to say I'm a writer, not a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody here is rolling. You're a what? So I know everybody listening now, I'm talking people's ears off. But I did. I'm a writer, not a speaker. And then I started to kind of change my mind. Oh, well, I know I should, and I kind of want to, but I'm a little nervous. And I've always wanted to kind of do something and something big, but I was always very timid. And that's why I would say things like that. Now, human design showed me, and I don't know if you remember, because I know you've seen my chart, something about my throat is connected to something else's or whatever. And that I remember you saying to me in particular, that meant that I'm supposed to be speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be doing this thing. And the funny thing is that flicked a switch for me. I have a hard time with that turn of phrase. I should probably choose a different one. It clicked the light bulb for me that told me, just do it. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to feel vulnerable. And you are meant to speak out. And that was just because quote unquote, the stars showed me that it was what was meant to be. And something somewhere along the way had closed the door to that, but I was ready to open it again. Are there any other examples of that you've experienced? I know there are.
Yeah.
That you can share with the community.
Yeah, I'd love to. And you kind of took it that next level deeper too, because it's like you said, it's not just that permission and shining that light on the gifts that you actually are really brought into this world with and meant to use in the work that you're doing. But it also takes it that next step deeper of, well, how have I been leveraging these gifts? Like, how have these doors been shut to me or for me by somebody else? And then actually, when that light flips on and you really kind of see, like, instead of stumbling, or I've had a client tell me, it's like you turn the light on and I'm done stumbling around in the dark. I now know where I'm going and what my next steps are. It shines that light for you. And then your next steps are to actually walk through that door. So if those gifts are those doors opening for you, that's that next level or layer of work, is like stepping into that strengths and actually starting to live by your design and implement it into your business and your life. And so another example I have is a client that I've been working with, and she is I work with a lot of coaches, a lot of service providers, online entrepreneurs. So she in particular is a coach. And as many of us, as we start to do more of this work and uncover more of ourselves, we realize that we've been doing a lot of things based on what other people told us we should be doing, based on conditioning, based on people pleasing. Even if you're in the online space, you've been in the online space for a while, you're a coach, you've worked with many clients, you can still find yourself in these loops of, I'm just going to create something. So with this particular client, she had made a decision that this specific way of creating offers, this container is how she loved to show up for her clients. And so she was going through the process of some of the human design work we had done together of kind of clearing away some of these other things she had out there and really honing in her focus on, this is the container that I love to show up in. And it was a time frame. It was you get in now, the doors close at this point, and then the cohort starts. And she had other people in that after the doors had closed, kind of like tugging at her a little bit to say, hey, can you create something? I really want to work with you. I'm sorry. I regret missing the deadline that you set. And so she was in the process of actually creating an offer for a couple people. And she had said that as she was about to respond to these potential clients and actually sign them, take them on, because she's like, well, I could, I want to help this person. She just felt this massive like gut check. So she just felt it in her gut. She felt it in like just in the, it was more of like she felt it in her body versus her mind logically walking through, well, I can make this offer for this person. I can deliver over here. It's super simple. Then it was more of like checking in with what her body was telling her, what her internal authority was guiding her towards, and being more open and receptive to that. She was aware of that. And in turn, she's like, I think this is my guidance, like telling me like, this is not the route to go. And so she like totally like stopped that process, like said, I'm sorry, I'll let you know when the next like round starts. And kind of in that moment, by saying no, which is a lot of what the work up front has to start with when you're working with your design, is saying no to the things that just aren't in alignment with you. Like that still kept her free to serve the people she was already serving, to enjoy the space and time that she had created for herself in that process. And so that's kind of one of the ways where once you start to work with this, you start to see where these things show up that kind of lead you off your path a little bit.
And not letting them tempt you, like sirens in the ocean. You know, you've got this beautiful song, you're thinking, yeah. But having your human design there to root you, to ground you into what's actually going to bring you joy. It allows you to take the action, the necessary action, in order to keep you in that space of, I don't know, just fun. Fun doing what you love and serving people in a space that's aligned. So we talked about too, how, you know, this can help you to create a business that's like your hell yes business, because you're leading with purpose. Can you talk to me more about that? How that kind of blends in with human design and marketing your business?
Yeah. So that ties into like doing all the things we think we should be doing versus doing the things that we enjoy doing, that we are designed to do, that really align with our strengths. And so typically when you are like starting a business or you're growing a business, many of us follow like the guidance and the leadership from other coaches, other people that have been in the game longer than us. And quite often they will give you, this is what worked for me for marketing. This is what, you know, this is step A, B, C, and D. And if you try to follow that, and there's pieces or parts of that that aren't necessarily in alignment with you, that don't necessarily work with how you're designed to serve people, to show up and market your business, it's going to, you're going to end up feeling burnt out. You're going to end up feeling like frustrated, resentful of some of the things that you've created and you've built. And this is how a lot of business owners get to that point where they've just tolerated this frustration, this resentment, this bitterness, this like disappointment in what they've created. And then they just burn it all down. So instead of going to that extreme, when you create that hell yes business, it is that business that you are excited to put your feet on the floor for every single morning. You have that why behind your business that really like pulls you out of bed. You have the way that, you know, even the marketing that you're doing, like you said before, it's freeing. It's freeing to know I don't have to create a social media post every single day, just like this. I don't have to go live. I don't have to live launch. I don't have to cold message people. I don't have to do things this way. I don't have to check the boxes to market my business, to show up, to call in and attract my ideal clients. I get to do things the way I enjoy doing them. Yes, I do need to show up in some way, shape, or form, but I get to determine what that looks like. And I know for you specifically as that manifestor, you're just like, yeah, yes, like you are not designed to be showing up like somebody who is a generator or somebody who's creating some of those like ways of doing things. So it's really that hell yes business is that business where you have the clients you love, you have the marketing you love. Maybe you're delegating that marketing out because that's part of your design. And many of us want to get to that point where we're delegating some of that stuff out. And it's the containers that you love to show up in. And it's having the freedom and having the, I'm going to say it again, permission to do it that way and not like shame yourself or judge yourself for doing it a little bit differently.
Yeah. And it's, and so You know, you're speaking my language.
Hmm.
I love the customization, the idea of embracing, stepping into your authentic power. And that is all about, you know, realizing your human design and how it corresponds with who you are and how you're showing up or how you're not showing up.
Hmm.
Now, for people who are new to human design, maybe it would be helpful to kind of dive into the different types, the different designs that exist, and
Hmm.
you know, people can start resonating with, oh, well, maybe that's me, maybe that's me, and we'll talk a little bit more later about how they can find out what designs they have.
Hmm.
So first, let's talk about the different designs and maybe give a little snippet about what that means within the concept of your marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are 5 different human design types, and we'll let you know in a little bit, like how you can pull your chart and all that stuff. But you're going to be one of the 5 types, and you figure that out. It's all based on your birth information, your birth date, your birthplace, and your birth time, because that astrology is a piece of what your human design is. So you're going to be one of the 5 types. There are generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, projectors, or reflectors. You're going to be one of those 5 types. And if that sounded completely foreign to you, you're not sure you're going to remember that, just don't worry about it. You'll get it. And I'll give you some information on how you can learn more about your specific type, because that's all that really matters, is understanding what your type is, and then going from there. And your type does not change based on your age or changes in your life or whatever, because it's based on your birth information. So I know I've been asked that too, where people have taken like the Enneagram or other assessments and their results change. If you are a generator, when you take this based on your birth information, you're always going to be that generator.
So the generator, because we were talking about how I'm a manifester. It's like 9% of the population or something like that, which the way I understand it is that I've got ideas. I'm always telling people that I'm a self-proclaimed idea blower upper. I've got the sparks. I want to go fast, and I want to go hard, and I want to make sure that we're getting shit out, right? And it's really exciting and really intimidating for a lot of people. But the holdup for me in marketing is if I don't speak, which we talked about, not just speaking, but communicating, making sure that the words are actually being articulated to the right people, because I could start running and then everybody's back there and nobody's with me, and then what's the point?
Yeah.
So what about, say, somebody figures out I'm a generator. What does that mean for my marketing? Can you give like a tidbit about something like that?
Yeah. So if you are a generator, generators and manifesting generators combined make up about 70% of the population. So just kind of I guess a breakdown on that for you guys.
That's kind of why I went with generator, because I was like, a lot of people are going to be in the generator category.
Yeah. So generators, if you are a generator in human design, your biggest thing is just to recognize, like, you are magnetic just by being who you are, and by starting to, number one, say no to a whole lot of stuff that just is not in alignment with you. Because as that generator, when it comes to business, clients, marketing, odds are you're taking on too many things and you're not kind of putting it through that internal filter of, is this right for me or is this not? And when you take on too much stuff, that's how you get burned out. You have energy, because generators and manifesting generators have that life force energy. So you have the energy, you can do the things, but it's making sure you're doing the right things. And many generators, myself included, because I'm a generator, we've got in the online space, you get sucked into this hustle culture of, if you want X amount of dollars at the end of the month, you have to like 10x your bit, 10x the things that you're doing, the 10x rule, like that hustle mentality. Just because you can doesn't mean you should over the long haul, that it's in alignment with you. And understanding that as that generator, from a marketing perspective and a business perspective, embracing the fact that your energy is magnetic to the rest of the people around you, the right people around you, just by showing up and in like full out enthusiasm and excitement for the offers you're creating, the clients you're working with, what you had for breakfast, like anything you're excited about. When you bring that energy into like your content, like showing up live. And if you don't like to show up live as a generator, how can you get into that energy where you're writing the words from that enthusiastic standpoint? And then that goes out on social, because people feel that energy. They want to be a part of that. So you magnetize people to you just by being being in alignment with your human design, and not forcing things, not forcing people to come to you. That's kind of my biggest takeaway if you are that generator in human design.
That's amazing. There are so many people who hesitate to show up because, oh, I'm not that interesting. Nobody wants to hear from me. But what
Mhm.
you're saying is, we do. Show
Right.
up. We want it so badly. You are a magnet, and you're not showing up is leaving us floating around.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that if nothing else, people, show up
Mhm.
and put yourself out into the world, because you are built to make an impact.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that so much.
Yeah.
It genuinely warms my heart. Now,
Yeah.
Jen, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell people a few final words, because I know you've got such a wealth of knowledge that you can share with them. So it might be challenging, but we'll pick something good, and then let people know how they can get in touch with you and how they can find out more about their human design.
Yeah. So I would just like to say, yeah, just kind of a thank you of having me here, just having me chat, and some final words. I know we barely scratched the surface of the different human design types today, but if you have more questions on, well, I'm a manifestor or the projector or the reflector, and how do I, really wrap myself around what I'm supposed to do, I would recommend like the start guide that you see kind of floating across the screen, or my human design start guide is a great place to get started. It will walk you through how to pull your chart and how to kind of get started with that. And then, as always, like, you can find me on Instagram. You can reach out. You can send me a question or a message there. I am hanging out there as well. But really, truly, human design is one of those tools that, as you're working on growing your business, as you're getting to this point in your business where you're like, something just feels off. I really want to do things a little bit differently, or I really want to understand myself a little bit more in a different way than maybe some of the other personality tests that are out there. Human design is a great way to do that. And it's a great way to really shine a light on what makes you uniquely you. And it's going to help you pull the strengths, the talents, and the gifts that you literally were born with and put on this earth to help others with through the work that you're doing.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jen. Now, I'm also going to just reiterate that if you're curious about your human design, if you want to start that journey, then the link to find out about what is your design will be in the show notes of this episode. And you can find it at jendice.co/HD start.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out. Explore the world a little bit, because truly, I mean, like I said before, I am like 2 centimeters within the world. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
taken a little tippy toe, and already my mind is blown.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can dive in even a little bit further, or even if
Mm-hmm.
you can't, you're already going to be mountainous. I can't quantify how far ahead you're going to be. So
Uh-huh.
absolutely take that step.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Jen, thank you again for showing up for our audience, and thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I'm so excited that you were able to join us today.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me today, Shauna. This was fun.
Awesome. It'll happen again. I know.
Yes. Yes.
Bye now.